head of the UNFCCC and the head of UNCBD. Ladies and gentlemen, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia took decisive actions to adapt food and agri-system with climate change in alignment with the 3 Rio Conventions, including reducing water consumption for agriculture by 9.6 billion cubic meter, which really shows the Kingdom commitment in the sustainable use of natural resources and the work to invest into the good agricultural practices and smart agricultural technologies and climately smart agriculture to support production of crops and strengthen its ability and resilience in the face of climbing temperature. Ladies and gentlemen, the integration between sectors and agreements and investment in innovation is important for sustainable agriculture and enabling local communities to bani
very successful UNCCT COP16 under your leadership. With that, can I check the representative from Colombia is here? Representative from Colombia, Mr. Adriana Rivera. If you are here, please come to join us on the podium. Otherwise, then we will continue with the first panelist, which is Mr. Tristan Tyrell, the Program Management Officer of Climate Change, Dry and Subhumid Land of CBD. Please, can you join us? Yeah, you can. Okay. The panel discussion going to address one question and only one question. That is, what's the progress we already achieved and what's the challenge that we have to integrate the agri-food systems into the respective conventions? In this case, how can we include and integrate agri-food systems into the works of the convention, into the works of CBD? Please. Can we have the mic? Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. Minister, Mr. Executive Secretary, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you today. Sustainable agriculture, agri-food systems, agroecological approaches are central within the CBD. We have Target 10 of the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which specifically mentions the importance of sustainable agriculture and agroecological approaches. But even more broadly than that, under the 3 objectives of the Convention, conservation, sustainable use, and genetic diversity, agriculture is central if we are going to achieve the Convention as a whole. Parties are currently revising their national biodiversity strategies and action plans related to the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. And although the actual revision of those policies and plans are still ongoing, national targets which were expected to be reported by our own COP16 in Cali just a few weeks ago, almost 400 targets from about 120 parties are specifically related to sustainable agriculture, agroecological approaches, traditional agricultural approaches, which shows the importance that many parties have been placing on this issue in their own approaches to addressing and achieving the objectives of the Convention. In terms of synergies across the 3 conventions, as Mr. Thiam mentioned, it is central when thinking about it from a human perspective, thinking about sustainable livelihoods, health, well-being. And just in Cali, again, a few weeks ago, The adoption of the Global Action Plan for Biodiversity and Health also speaks specifically to the role of agriculture and sustainable and healthy food for ourselves. Land use change is one of the major, if not the major driver of biodiversity loss. And again, it's very central to this discussion. Some of the challenges, though, are certainly, there are many, but one of the key ones is related to Target 18 of the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, which is around the role of subsidies and the need to address some of the more perverse subsidies, in particular, although certainly not limited to, the agricultural sector, and the need to reform those if we are to effectively and successfully achieve both the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, but also the Convention as a whole, as well as broader issues relating to climate change, land degradation and drought, and of course the Sustainable Development Goals. Also within the GBF, there are the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, there are a number of other targets that are also related to this, including the role of respecting and promoting traditional knowledge and practices, because as we've seen, once you get down to the local level, the approaches of Indigenous peoples, local communities can be extremely successful, and that includes also within food systems. But there are others relating to gender equality, intergenerational equity, and taking rights-based approaches as well. And these are all certainly central. So now as parties are starting to implement the GBF, the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, and there has been this renewed call from Cali for strengthened synergies across the three conventions. We need to be working together both within the Rio Conventions, but of course more broadly, including with agencies such as yourselves, with FAO and others, to make sure that parties are delivering on what they have already committed to by 2030. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing with us from the biodiversity, from the CBD perspective, how the agri-food system solutions can be integrated into the conventions of the work in the future. And certainly from FAO's perspective, as mentioned by the chair of the CFS, we see that agri-food solutions are the solutions to biodiversity. Can I please kindly check again if the representative from Colombia is here, Ms. Rivera, to represent the CBD COP presidency? If not, maybe she will join us later. Then let's move to the climate perspective. And let me kindly invite Mr. Wahid Fazaliyev, head of the Forest Development Service of the Ministry of Ecology and Natural Resources from Azerbaijan, who represents the presidency of the UNFCCC COP29 to provide their perspectives on the achievement and also the challenges of integrating agri-food systems into climate convention and also its implementation. Sir, you have the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lee. Dear colleagues, first of all, thank you for inviting me to this panel. I represent the Ministry of Ecology and Natural Resources of Azerbaijan, and I am here today on behalf of my colleague who could join us. I am happy to share some thoughts on today's topic, which focuses on building climate-resilient agri-food systems. Let me start by talking about COP29, which was recently and successfully held in Baku, Azerbaijan this November. COP29 was an important event for Azerbaijan and the global community. It gave us a chance to discuss how to tackle climate change and support sustainable development. One of the key achievements of COP29 was the launch of the Baku Harmonia initiative, a program that helps farmers adopt climate-smart agricultural practices. The initiative focuses on improving soil health, managing water more efficiently, and involving local communities to make farming more sustainable. In Azerbaijan, we understand how important agriculture is in addressing climate change, protecting biodiversity, and preventing land degradation. We have been working hard to make our agri-food systems more resilient. For example, we have introduced better water management systems and expanded agroforestry practices to save water, restore degraded land, and protect biodiversity. Still, challenges remain. Many farmers, especially smallholders, struggle to access financial support, modern tools, and opportunities to learn. At the same time, there is a need for stronger policies that connect agriculture with biodiversity protection and climate adaptation. Even with these challenges, Azerbaijan is committed to promoting sustainable agriculture. The outcomes of COP29 and initiatives like the Baku Harmony Initiative show our dedication to building resilient farming system and contributing to global efforts to tackle environmental challenges. In conclusion, I want to highlight the importance of working together globally. By aligning policies and promoting sustainable technologies, we can ensure agriculture plays a key role in solving environmental problems and building a better future. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much to bring us your insights regarding the integration between the agri-food systems and the climate actions. Can I kindly check again if the representative from Colombia, Ms. Rivera, is here? It seems she is not yet here, but let's proceed. Let's proceed with indeed a very exciting moment. Exciting moment that we're going to share with the news regarding to the decade of ecosystem restoration. For those who are less familiar with this UN decade on ecosystem restoration, this is a global initiative that is co-led by FAO and UNEP. Today we're going to share with you a news regarding the progress of this decade. We have a video, I think. Can we put up the video?
We lost this balance of the healthy ecosystem. More and more area is covered by steppe fires.
Satu abrasi yang luar biasa hingga desa-desa itu banyak yang tenggelam.
De plus en plus, les conflits augmentent.
Unless we understand that, this will be getting worse and worse.
But that doesn't tell the whole story. And you can see this as the front line against climate change.
Wild ungulates such as saiga, their intermediate grazing pressure helps to maintain such habitats.
Restaurar a floresta não é fácil.
Le pusimos lo que es granza de arroz, tierra, carbón.
挨了一苦的鱼儿吃了以后排出的粪便，它感觉到盯着眼睛大啊。
movimento da restauração não é só restaurar florestas. Restaurar paisagens, restaurar vida.
It's the same needs, the same approach. So we need to act together.
Este es mi hogar. No hemos perdido la esperanza.
Thank you. Following that video, let me kindly invite my counterpart in the UNEP, my dear colleague, Director Susan Garner, the Director of the Ecosystem Division of the UNEP, to join me to announce the news.
Well, Excellencies, friends, colleagues, together with FAO, it's an honor to be here. Watching that extraordinary video, you can see how excited we are about the progress on the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. These World Restoration flagships celebrate some of the world's best examples of large-scale, long-term ecosystem restoration. And together since 2022, 17 World Restoration flagships across 47 countries have been reversing land degradation of more than 100 million hectares, including across diverse ecosystems, as you could see in the video, contributing to the decade's overall goal of restoring 1 billion hectares by 2030. Today, together with FAO, I'm immensely proud to announce that we have received over 200 impressive submissions for this year's UN World Restoration Flagships Call. These submissions show inspiring, ambitious, transformative work. They show us what's truly possible when people take their future into their own hands, creating a better world for themselves, for their children, and for their communities. After close examination of all of these inspiring submissions, we have identified a list of some of the most extraordinary examples, which altogether are restoring more than 13 million hectares by 2030. And this is an area larger than Malawi and South Korea. UNEP and FAO look very much forward to announcing these final flagship winners at key international events throughout next year. Events like the UN Ocean Conference, the FAO 80th anniversary, the UN Environment Assembly, and other key moments throughout 2025. You know, the flagships are more than an award. They're truly a beacon of hope. And they're guiding us in reversing land degradation, biodiversity loss, and climate change. Being recognized as a World Restoration flagship has propelled so many initiatives forward. Friends, this is truly our moment. We're halfway at that critical mark for so many global commitments. 2030 is the finish line for the SDGs, for the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, and for the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. And we know that ecosystem restoration works. It works for people, and it works for the planet. When indigenous knowledge, science, and perseverance meet, incredible things happen. And for every dollar that we invest in ecosystem restoration, we're seeing more than $30 in return. As we look forward to the great reveal next year, let's be clear. Again, this is not just about awards. This is about scaling up impact, and it's about taking extraordinary work of people who are on the front lines of restoration, ensuring that they're inspiring millions more, because whether or not any initiative becomes one of the UN flagships, all of these efforts, all of this work of people, helping their communities, are turning dreams for a better future into a reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. As she said, the decade of ecosystem restoration is aiming to restore 1 billion hectares of the land and other ecosystems. 1 billion hectare is a similar size of China. That's very ambitious. With the announcement of the next cohorts of the flagships initiatives, which will contribute another 13 million, we are progressing towards the very ambitious restoration target that we have. Thank you very much. With that, we are coming to the close of this session, and let me kindly invite our Assistant Director General, Dr. Elva again, to take the floor and then to share his summary of the session, but also his closing remarks. ADG, please.
Lifeng, thank you very much. I come now as FAO. With I have the speech here written, but I don't want to take much of your time. Really appreciate you all being here with us to start the Food Systems Day of this great COP here. And I want to say 3 messages, clear and straight, and some of the overarching key messages that crosses among the COPs. The first message, 95% of world food today is produced from and by land. So there's no other source that we can get the food except the land, with the 5% remaining that comes either from the fishery or the other sources. We will really have to take care of that land. 40% of the world land has already been degraded. 60% of that 40% is agricultural land. So if we want to take a leapfrog on restoring lands, we already have lands that are owned by farmers. So we don't need to spend time to find ownership and build capacity, which we still need to do, especially for the forestry and the rangelands. But we already have a quick win on targeting the 60% that's already in the hands of the farmers. But who are these farmers? They're the smallholder farmers, the most vulnerable, resourceless, helpless, and most subject to all the changes of the world: biodiversity loss, climate change, drought, and all the crises that we see today. So we need to pay special attention to the small farmer holders in order to be able to target to restore and ensure the well-being of 60% of the already degraded land and ensure that no more is degraded. What is the cross-cutting messages between the 3 COPs? 5 key points. Agri-food systems hold the solutions to major interlinked challenges facing people and the planet: climate change, biodiversity loss and land degradation, food insecurity and poverty, global biodiversity, the biodiversity plan, climate Paris Agreement, and land degradation neutrality goals are unattainable without agri-food system solutions. Second, agri-food systems need to be prioritized in multilateral environmental agreements and fully integrated into national planning processes and strategies. Yesterday, we were discussing the issues of the 3 COPs and where do we synergize the cross-cutting areas. And a lot of the interveners have confirmed that it's at the national level where we can bring the 3 COPs together. Third, scaling up the implementation of the agri-food system solution through enabling policies, innovation, and technologies is fundamental to reach smallholder farmers and producers. Fourth, financing and investment are insufficient for agri-food systems transformation. Directing finance to agri-food systems and ensuring this finance effectively reaches agricultural communities is critical. And this is what I meant earlier by targeting a quick win of the 60% of the degraded land through supporting smallholder farmers. Last, the transformation of agri-food systems must be just, equitable, inclusive, and gender responsive for maximum impact. And I would re-highlight the strategic framework that FAO, on behalf of the global community, holds up, and that's the transformation of agri-food systems to become more efficient, inclusive, and sustainable for a better nutrition, better production, better environment, and better life, leaving no one behind. With this, I think the Agri-Food Systems Day and the Food Systems Day that we have today, we had the kickstart. We know it's going to be a long day, but this is a day that addresses one of the major cross-cutting thematic areas of all the Rio Conventions, and also synergize the efforts and actions needed with the focus on land restoration, degraded land restoration, and achieving agri-food systems. We from FAO, we thank you all for being here with us today and look forward to seeing you in other events that are happening throughout the day addressing food systems in the COP16. And we thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia again for hosting us, for this arrangement and the setup of this COP, and of course allowing this space for the first time in the region under the UNCCD to deepen the dialogue on these hot issues. Thank you.
Thank you, ADG. I think the message is very, very clear, and you will see that hopefully agri-food system solutions will be much better integrated into the works and implementation of the 3 Rio Conventions. Let me thank again all the 3 Rio Conventions Secretariat and the 3 COP presidencies for the close collaboration and for the support of this very important discussion. Thank you very much. And also look forward to see you at other events during the day, including the celebration of also the World Soil Day. So wish you have a great Agri-Food System Day and a great World Soil Day. Thank you very much.
Now heresy might be a new faith. Whatever you've chosen to believe in, darling, don't you ever forget to treat others the way